to see a youth in the room. It's always a positive energy. Let me have understanding with all of you who are the asset of the nation that when I speak, only I will speak, which means you are not going to speak to your friend or anyone, whoever it is. That is the understanding. If I see someone violating that norm, I will just ask them to come to the dais and take over my presentation. Is it agreeable to all of you? Okay. You know, I will be talking on, how to conserve the water bodies. Essentially we faced a severe water crisis last 2-3 months, and I feel that if we don't wake up today, we will never do the justice to our children. The purpose of organizing an event like this is one is capacity building. Bring awareness among every section of the society, so that if they are knowledgeable, if they are environmentally literate, then probably the management of resources become the meaningful. And the theme of this year what are you doing there? Is land restoration, stopping desertification, and creating a system which is drought resilient. You all witnessed in the last 6 months 175 to 180 taluks in Karnataka were under drought. And people who suffered will understand the implication of that. In the Kaveri basin, out of 40 taluks, the Karnataka part of Kaveri basin, 39 were under drought. And that is under drought because of the land degradation and the associated desertification. And that's where we need to take up the land restoration. At least if we cannot do anything, let us not damage the system. Let us give our children the good air, water, and the environment. My agenda of science is to ensure sustainability. That is ensuring clean air, water, and environment for our children. For that, one has to take appropriate decision. Today, you all are students. Tomorrow, you will become a professional and the decision makers. When you become a professional or decision makers, the responsibility is on your shoulder. There is no point in a person doing the job 9 to 5:30 and go home and sleep. That animals also do. We are different from that. Our way of thinking has to be different. That is where people excel, when they are different. Just now we remembered Swaminathan. The contribution by him to ensure the food sustenance in our country. Otherwise, we would have faced a severe food crisis. Of course, there are some problems that anyway we should rectify, we will do that. See, that is where when you are different, then you will shine in the system. What is that circulated? There's some sheet is circulated. What is that? No, that could have been done earlier, no? Before they enter the room.
There is a circulation, please stop it. Please stop the circulation.
The person in maroon shirt and check shirt. See,
Please stop any circulation till the talk is over. Don't interfere with the.
and please keep in mind, I am not like your teachers. My eye is on every student, okay? I keep eye on everybody in my classroom. And today I am taking a class for you all. I have come with a purpose. See, I accept the invite only if there are youth are there in the audience. I didn't come for the institution, I came for you all. Hoping that the message I give today, we can transform the world. That's the beauty of Indians. And we have been doing, some of us are doing it. And I will share some of the things what we have done over a period of time. Okay, now if you want to maintain the sustainability, you need to take appropriate decision. And one is the thing is taking appropriate decision, we need sensible citizens. That is where the problem. When youngsters become sensible, they will be responsible. How do they become sensible? For them to become sensible, they should be knowledgeable. And they should have the knowledge of environment. Child or the youth who respect mother at home will also have a concern towards the society. A child or a youth who does not respect mother at home will only think of how to mismanage the mother earth resources. Okay? So that is why the whole thing stops. That's what the environmental knowledge talks about it. We don't preach anything. We preach them at least be a good human being and respect your mother and think of your mother earth. So now I will explain how the environment works. You are all engineering students. I'm sure you all have teachers would have told about thermodynamic principles. The 3 laws of thermodynamics. I'll teach you in a simpler way. When you look at this simple food chain, you see the food is produced by the plant which is eaten by the next level. When it happens, there is a energy generation, energy manufacture, and then it is the move from one level to other. Energy and material move from one level to the other. Okay? And as it happens, there is a loss of energy. That is what we talk about, law of entropy. Okay? If you have not understood the thermodynamic principle, today when you go home, please look at your textbook and recall what I have told you about. Okay? And then finally, whatever is left in the system is getting converted into elemental form by bacteria and fungi. They are the biodegraders. Bacteria and fungi, they do the job of the bioengineer, that degrade the thing. And when you look at carefully the system, there is nothing called waste. Where do you see waste? You will see waste where waste people are there. Go to the layout where the waste is littered. I can say that layout is full of people who are waste. What is this waste I am so unhappy about? The plastic. Why do we need plastic for everything? Plastic bottled water. And when we go to hotels, get a food in a polythene bag for our children. Has the convenience has become an order of the day today? Or concern for our youngsters is a order of the day? We analyze the water that is there in the plastic bottle and also the food that has got from the hotel, which are hot stuff. We analyze that the food items also for the chemical and the heavy metal composition. We were surprised to see there are dioxins in those things. Bottled water having dioxin. Dioxin is a carcinogen which introduces cancer. A person like me, who has been giving a talk almost every alternate day for the last 10 years, when I go to institution, if they give me one bottle, you can imagine what will happen. My assessment is when a person consumes 1,000 bottle, he or she will get into the cancer hospital. This is what the engineering student have to understand. And I have seen some of the youngsters carrying the water in the used bottle, plastic bottle. That's again disastrous. So, one message today is, let us not use plastic unnecessarily. Okay? So that is what you need to understand. When you lead a life which are, friendly with the nature, you will be healthy. Today Bangalore is number one as far as the cancer is concerned. Quite worrying. Whatever we earn during our 30 or 35 years of professional life, if a person gets a cancer, then he or she has to spend the money in the cancer hospital. This is where we have to wake up, we have to be sensible, we have to be responsible. Now, with this, let me take you to the Western Ghats. What are let us first look at the number of species on the earth. We have only one earth. As per our scriptures, there are 8 to 12 million species are there. And in science, we have estimated 1.3 million species. Species means varieties of plants and animals. Why do you need varieties of plants and animals? Because of the varieties of plants and animals, you have varieties of food. Because of varieties of food, you have medicines. Because of that medicine, you have immunity. Those who take the balanced food of diverse food stuff, they are healthy compared to people who take only one kind of food items. So that means diversity is required for us, for our health. Now, I work in the Western Ghats my home is from Kerala to Gujarat. My home is only 5% of India's geographical area. I always tell them, if you keep my home in order, you will get water. There are 100 plus perennial rivers in the Western Ghats which feeds the water to the peninsular India. Because of that water security, we have the food security. So now you see the link between the things. That's where we need to conserve the Western Ghats. Okay? Now let us try to understand where the species occur. Naturally the question occurs, which part of the globe we have higher number of species or the varieties of plants and animals? When we do that across the latitudinal gradient, you will be surprised to see at 8 to 14 degree latitude, you have the highest number of the species of plants and animals. 8 to 14 degree latitude corresponds to Kerala, Karnataka and Tamil Nadu part of Western Ghats. That means people who are born in this region, we have inherited the highest diversity of plants, animals, etc. That means we have got the diversity. It's our responsibility to protect it and conserve it and pass it on to our next generation. Okay, that is where management is required, without disturbing the physical integrity and chemical integrity. Means we should not pollute the system. Then only you will have the biological resources what is available in the region. Okay, now let us try to have a glimpse of the diversity of plants that are there in the Western Ghats. You'll be surprised. These many varieties of brinjals are there. And each one is for fragrance, one is for the yield, etc. Okay? There are 54 varieties of rice. You don't have to do genetic engineering. Just hybridize. You will have the healthy item. Genetically engineered thing, you do not know what is the kind of the strain you have introduced, whether it will have the implication on the other resources. Okay, that is where management is required, without disturbing the physical integrity and chemical integrity. Means we should not pollute the system. Then only you will have the biological resources what is available in the region. Okay, now let us try to have a glimpse of the diversity of plants that are there in the Western Ghats. You'll be surprised. These many varieties of brinjals are there. And each one is for fragrance, one is for the yield, etc. Okay? There are 54 varieties of rice. You don't have to do genetic engineering. just hybridize, you will have the healthy item. Genetically engineered thing, you do not know what is the kind of the strain you have introduced, whether it will have the implication on the other resources. The two youngsters, yeah. You have any question? Can you come here? Yeah, both of you can come. I like that. Please come. I will not continue unless you come. The principal also made the remark, and please come. You both stand up.
So those who are not following the protocols of the auditorium.
Sir, let them come. Let them come.
Yeah. Who are that? Please get up. Hello. Hello. You
No,
are
not, sir, not this boy. There are two girls there. They know that. Both the girls know.
No, who are they? Please come.
Yeah, get up.
Oh, please come. Please come. Please come. Hello.
Yeah.
You are supposed to be silent.
Can you come? Come. I need the. Can you pull that chair and sit here? This is not to insult youngsters. This is to bring a discipline in the group. If you are not disciplined, things won't work for my country. So that is why you have to be disciplined. What is that? You know Kannada, no? English, Tamil, Hindi. I know these people are Indian. I don't want. I can speak English. Madam, can you breathe? Please be seated. Okay. I wanted some break. Thanks to these youngsters who gave the break so that I can speak further. See, there is always positive thing with every negative action also. Okay? Now, if you want to conserve this Western Ghats, how do you take advantage of science and technology? You are always students of engineering. When you think of engineering, see, you think of only computers. You will think of artificial intelligence as if your normal intelligence is not working. Okay? So that is the trend today. Every student say, I want to do data science. But data is required for everything. But to handle data, you should have common sense. You should know the subject. That is where the core subject comes to the picture. Those who have done engineering, the core subject, like electrical, mechanical, civil, today the way they shine. Your computer thing, only the thing is morning 9 to 5:30 or midnight work, no happiness at home. Okay. Anyway, that is coming back to the subject. If I want to manage this Western Ghats of 1,60,000 square kilometer, how I can do it? We have launched the satellites way back in 70s. Every 21 or 30 days interval, we get a picture of the Earth. If I analyze the picture of the Earth, that is called remote sensing data, through the digital image processing, I can see where the forest and how it is changing with the time. We have done from 1985 to 2018. And also we analyzed what is the fragmentation of the forest. Earlier, to analyze one district, it used to take about 8 to 9 months. Today, because of artificial intelligence and machine learning algorithm, the entire Western Ghats, my students have done it in 8 months. See, that is the beauty. But to analyze, you need to know the basic concepts. Okay, otherwise it becomes just an algorithm. You will code something or you will copy and paste and then you say that I have done the job. So that is not the reason. So that is where, big data, the spatial data that is available from 1970 onward, every 21 or 30 days interval, you can imagine how big the database is. And if you can analyze the patterns, in the data through the either the parametric or non-parametric classifier, you have done your job. Okay? So now it shows the forests are degrading, and over a period of last the 3 or 4 decades, we have lost about 5% of forest and the evergreen. You know, evergreen is the green throughout the year. And not only forests are we are losing, forests are also getting fragmented. Okay? Now, we also looked at what is the benefit of forest. You know, during photosynthesis, plants take the carbon dioxide from the atmosphere in the presence of sunlight, convert that CO2 to oxygen and glucose, and that glucose or the carbon gets stored in the plant. You know, that is the, you will assess what is the carbon stored in the above ground, below ground, and in the soil. You know, this gives the total of the thing. We analyzed how much carbon is stored in these forests of Western Ghats. It amounts to about 1.23 million gigagram. And every year, you know, every day the plant is doing photosynthesis. And if you look at that, every year it is storing about 37,000 gigagram of carbon, which is equivalent to the emission that happens in cities like Trivandrum, Kochi, then Bangalore, Mangalore, etc. This nature knows how to balance. That is where we need to maintain the forest cover in the Western Ghats. And when we looked at from economic angle, you know, consider the social cost of the carbon, it amounts to 100 billion rupees or $1.4 billion. You know, that is the worth of the job that is done. See, when you go and do job for some time outside, per hour you might get some 300 rupees. Look at the forest that is doing the job of carbon sequestration. When you assign the value to that, it amounts to about 100 billion rupees. See, that is where we started looking at what is the service provided by these ecosystems. Okay, if this trend continues, then what is the likely scenario? We looked at the module, prediction of the likely land cover changes. You know, it shows further degradation of the forest, and what is the implication of that? You know, the implication, that means, see, we are talking about desertification, land degradation as a part of the environmental day. See, this is happening, and it is going to happen more if we don't wake up today. If it happens, what is going to happen? You see, the temperature in the region will increase. You know, the Kerala will become more warmer and warmer. You know, about 1.5 degrees Celsius increase in temperature. And temperature, then rainfall pattern, if you look at Kerala, which receives the rainfall for 6 to 8 months, and the higher quantum of rainfall will start getting lesser rainfall. That means the crop that is they are growing, economical important crop, they will not be able to do that. And the third serious thing is changes in rainy days. The rain which is supposed to spread for 6 to 8 months, you will get in few days. When you get that high quantum of water in a short duration, it is called high intensity rainfall. When you have high intensity rainfall, then you will have the landslides, mudslides with the flooding. You know, this is what I wrote in 2018 when we published an article. I said we are going to face these landslides, mudslides, etc. in Karnataka and Kerala part of Western Ghats. People didn't take it seriously. But 2019, when landslides and mudslides happened in those regions, my paper was referred by many people, including journalists. So only in crisis, we look at the science. But science should not be treated like that. Science is for everyday's life. You know, every action of our decision, we need to imply, have the scientific aspects in our management. Okay? So, now let me give another example. Because some of you are civil engineers. As you graduate, you will think of more of concrete, etc. Okay? So let me also tell you how far we require vegetation and what will happen if we don't have the vegetation. You know, I give a picture of the two photographs. This is when I was a student, I had lot of water and green areas. And today the same location, same day, same month, I don't have the water. Probably that is because the land is, the cover is changed. You know how the land is covered? It decides its ecological function. What are the functions of the ecosystem? Water cycle, hydrological cycle, nutrient cycle, biogeochemical cycle. What is hydrological cycle? the water cycle? Can I ask two of you? Can you help me? What is water cycle? You know, water cycle? They are not talkative when they are next to me. That's where elders are required. So, and a person like me makes the life much more very comfortable for the youngster like this. Okay? You know, why I am talking about water cycle? You know, you all know when it rains, part of the rain gets infiltrated, part of it gets evaporated, transpiration happens because of the solar energy and the cloud formation, with the cloud formation, condensation, rain formation, and the cycle happens. You know, when this is the concept. I asked a group of faculty who are attending my lecture as a part of the faculty development program in Telangana, current Telangana. I asked them what is the water cycle. One gentleman got up, probably he's in mid-30s. He got up. I thought he is going to answer my question. So he said, sir, you see outside. I saw outside thinking that it is raining. He said, see outside, people are carrying water pot on bicycle. When you carry water on cycle, it becomes water cycle. Can you imagine? This is the level of the knowledge that is there in the current system. That is the root cause of our problem. The right people at the right place is the requirement. You know, that is where we need to understand the concept. As a student, your job is to read textbook and learn the concept, not depend on Google Mama for everything. You know, one student got to me my lab asking for a job. When I asked the question, he said, sir, give me 1 minute, I'll come back. But he didn't know that there are cameras in my room, my lab. He went outside, looked at his mobile and came back and tried to answer. I told him to get out of this place. I don't need your kind of slaves in my lab. I need researchers who are independent and who think independently. You know, now coming back to the subject of water. You know, I said that when it rains, part of the water gets infiltrated. Now let us see how much water gets infiltrated. You know, we'll put the sensors in the underlying layer. You know, my talk today is not just for civil engineers or the mechanical engineer or this. Across the domain I am speaking, okay? But the binding factor is the environmental aspects. You know, environment is the mother of all science, that's why we call it, okay? Or the biology is the mother of the science, we call it, okay? So now we have put the sensors to find out how much water gets infiltrated when it rains. We chose various catchments. One catchment dominated by forest, one not the degraded forest, one is desertified thing. Like that, some 28 locations we consider. We monitored this one. And our agenda is when it rains, how much water goes to the underlying area. And you know the advantage of water getting recharged in the underground layer is because of the monsoon you have 4 months water. We in Karnataka we have 4 months of rainfall. Next 4 months, water that is stored in Vado zone comes to the water body for the next 4 months. During summer, the water stored in the saturated zone comes to the water body for the next 4 months. That's how 4 months for rain, 4 months for the water stored in the Vados, and 4 months because of the water stored in the groundwater store. How much water gets infiltrated? You know, when the catchment is dominated by native species forest, infiltration is as high as 65%, 60 to 65%. When it is dominated by urban buildings, concrete area, nothing goes in. Okay, when it is a monoculture plantation, you have about 45 to 50%. Okay, now we graded the water bodies as A, B, C, D. A are the one which have the water throughout the year, B are the one which have water for 8 months, C are the one for 6 months, and D are the one only during the monsoon of 4 months. And our study shows, you know, the catchment dominated by native species forest, more than 60% have the water throughout the year. When we convert that into monoculture plantation, we have 6 to 8 months of water. When we declare the catchment, we have the water only for 4 months. Now, to summarize what I said so far, This is the region where 12 months water is there. Here is the region 8 months, yellow is 6 months, 4 months is the blue region. Now just look at the land cover through the remote sensing data. You see wherever forests are there of native species and are contiguous, we have 12 months water. Wherever forests are fragmented, depending on the level of fragmentation, we have 8 to 6 months of water. Where the forest cover is less than 30%, we have only 4 months of water. And we quantified how much water gets infiltrated. See, our study shows wherever forests are there, the 60 to 65% of the rainfall gets infiltrated. That is the water available during the post-monsoon period. And wherever forests are degraded, you see that only the 20 to 30% of the water gets infiltrated. Okay? Now, let us look at how it affects the people, livelihood of the people. The farmers in this region, because water is available throughout the year, they can grow multiple crop or a cash crop. Whereas here, farmers get only 4 to 6 months of water, they can grow only one season crop. Now, because of that, earning of the farmer per acre per year, here is about 1,54,000, whereas here it is 32,000 rupees per acre per year. And more importantly, you see in this region, because of native species forest, you see that the pollinators are abundant. What are these pollinators? Like honeybee, butterfly, etc. Those insects are so they do the job of pollination. When they do the pollination, the yield of the crop is high. For example, in this region, where native species forests are there, the yield of paddy is about the 16 to 18 quintal per acre. Whereas here, since the forest is degraded, the yield of the crop is only the 6 to 8 quintal per acre. Okay, this you will not get in any textbook, because earlier people said that if there are trees, the water will be taken away by trees. There won't be any water in reservoir. When I was graduated, that's what my teacher was telling. But somehow it was not a convincing thing. So that's where I did the science to prove that is wrong. That's where yesterday's engineering students, today they are professionals in organization. First thing when they build a dam, they do is removal of trees in the catchment area. That's unfortunate. I countered that theory by publishing this article. What Westerners were talking about, for the first time I disproved it. And how much water is available, what is the demand we looked at. You see, this is the water available in a region, and this is the demand for drinking, agriculture, etc. And you see that in this region where forests are there, demand for water is higher, but there is a sufficient amount of water. Here, you see the demand for water is there, but there is no water. You can see that. Now, the Prime Minister of the country, the current Prime Minister and the next Prime Minister always says that we will double the income of the farmer. I would say just maintain the situation like this. Farmers get 16 to 18 quintal per acre as against 8 to 12 quintal per acre here. The nature does the job. That is how we need to manage that. When we were doing engineering, earlier civil engineering, we used to have the hydrology course. I don't know whether it is still there. And our teachers used to teach the watershed management, watershed integrity, etc. Those are the seeds that were put in our brain at that time. Today I can prove that the valid science. This is what I published in Current Science, which gives that linkages. Okay. Now let us try to understand the importance of this forest. We found in that forested area 2 species of fish, which has a medicinal property. It is used for curing the bronchitis or asthma. I thought that these 2 species we have found in the Western Ghat, if I bring to Bangalore and culture it, I can make billion rupees. But when we started culturing in Bangalore labs in that IISC, they didn't have medicinal value like Bangalore used. Which means if I need medicine from this fish, I need to grow them in their habitat. For that fish to grow in their habitat, it should have the water throughout the year. For water to be there in the streams or water bodies throughout the year, we should have a forest of native species in the region. That brings the linkage between the forest and the water availability and the medicine, etc. Now, let me give another story of frog. Frogs are known as amphibians. because they have two stages in the life cycle. First stage is a juvenile stage or a tadpole stage, which is in the water. Next stage is adult stage, which is on the land. Now suppose if the water is not there, what will happen to tadpole stage? Tadpole cannot survive. In such a case, when there is a water scarcity, how this animal get adapted to the situation, we understood through this particular frog, Philatus luperina. We saw that this frog is there in a dry region where there is no water. How it is managing the show? After fertilization of the egg, we saw the younger ones coming out in 14th day without tadpole stage. With the global warming, changes in climate, we are bound to face a situation where there won't be any drop of water on the earth. When there is no drop of water on the earth, none of us will survive. However intelligent we are, natural or artificial intelligence, we will die. Only these organisms which are adapted to the situation will survive. That is where, when you become an engineer, if you have this insight, you will be a very effective and the sensible engineer. That is where, if you look at during my time, the first 2 years, we were taught all basics, all subjects. The beauty was that we understood those concepts which has helped in our career today. Unlike today, which is a narrow season, wherein the people don't know how to manage the system which requires the interdisciplinary knowledge. Okay? Now, if you have to manage this, through science, how you can do it? We develop the decision support system. See, look at the way, I talked about biology, I talked about the civil engineering, now I am getting into the computer science domain also. We collected all the data related to that, biogeo-climatic and all the variables, we analyzed that. We identified in each of the region what is the kind of this variable status, what is the forest cover, etc. And then based on that, we identified the region which are ecologically sensitive. The red one are ecologically sensitive, which means biogeoclimatic parameters are all on the top. Like when you have CGPA, 9.9, 9.95 kind of a situation. Okay, whereas the blue are the one where CGPA is less than 4, the kind of situation. Okay, then dark green and light green are the ESR2 and ESR3. Okay, now this I have made it available to the public also for the decision makers. It's available. Now I'll just access that. Okay, see, online you can visualize. See, this is what you need to understand the thing, how you can contribute to the system. For example, it gives for the entire Western Ghats. What is the ecological status? Then choose a state if you want. Since I am from Karnataka, I will choose Karnataka. The district, I will choose Poor, which undergone a serious challenge the last 3 years. Then, okay, now you know that where the ecologically sensitive regions, etc. in the cool. Okay, so I think it's taking a time, probably the network issue. Then I will choose Markera. Okay, I'll go to that, maybe it might pick up that. And also you can choose the village. You can choose any village in the region. So that if you choose that, then what is the status of that village? Why it is so? All the parameters associated with that, we have put it in the, see, now you got the taluk. See, the ecologically sensitive. Now this is a village. Where you can see. And if you click on that, you will get the details. Like when you have CGPA 9.95, which subject you have scored more? Why all those things you will get. And all the data, we have made it available. Last 2.5 decades, my science, what I did, I have made it public so that people can get the feel of how to do the conservation. Now you see, the science is required for conservation, okay? So then, okay, let me get back to the slides. When I interact with people like this, they teach me sustainability. This lady, elderly lady, when I go to their villages, they are very shy. Their shyness is not out of the fear. Shyness is because of the respect towards the people who visit them. When I was interacting with these ladies, she said, I go and collect the bivalves from the estuaries. I was surprised. She was 65 plus. And when she took me to the place, I saw her spending 5 minutes in the underwater to collect a one bucket full of bivalves. Bivalves are the marine organism which has a shell and the organism within that. Then she told me, I don't collect the second bucket. I was curious. She told me, sir, if I sell this one bucket today, I will get 350 rupees, which is sufficient for me to run my family of 4 members. Tomorrow I will come back to earn for tomorrow. This is sustainability, not over exploiting. Okay. Now from science I have illustrated, from society also how the practice happens for conservation. Okay. Now if you develop the project, if it doesn't affect the local people the right to live, right to life, that project is ecologically sound. For example, a railway connectivity between Kerala to Mumbai didn't deprive the local people the right for the water, for fishing or the agriculture. That is the kind of project to be implemented. Not like widen the road, remove the trees and then loot the timber, etc. Okay. So now let us look at from the history book and also our cultural aspect. Easter Island, people thought the land is available. They went on expanding the island, thinking that they can have the population there. But population have to leave the island because of the water scarcity. Okay, last pledge of Vijayanagara kingdom failed because of the water scarcity. Our culture. What is our culture? Conservation. When you practice culture, naturally you have conservation. Okay, so then how do you practice the conservation when you take your food? For example, I would say that you all should eat pulses more and millets more. You will ask me why. When you take pulses, it helps in weight management. The person who is obese will not be obese. That's what my study with the idea also shows. That means the bad lipid won't get accumulated in the body. It helps in optimal brain functioning. It's a good source of vitamin. It also helps in lowering the blood pressure and control the diabetes. You might ask, what is the proof you are making a statement? One of my colleagues, when he was the head of the organization, he had blood pressure and diabetes. After retirement, his dinner plate, if you look at, he has 5 varieties of vegetable, 5 varieties of fruit, and a bowl of pulses. Pulses give the stability, while the 5 varieties of fruits and vegetables, each of 50 to 100 grams, because his plate is diverse, today is about 74. He is neither have blood pressure nor the diabetes. Now you see, through the food you can manage your system. Okay. So now, see, when you do that, let us see what is the water requirement. To grow a kg of pulses, you need 200 liters of water. To grow a kg of rice or wheat, you need 3,000 to 5,000 liters of water. And to grow a kg of millet, you need about the 150 liters of water. Okay, and it also reduces human-animal conflict. Okay, so now when you talk about it, anyway, these other things I have put it just for to those who have read might have understood. Okay, so that we have healthy planet when you practice that, so that which is a harmonious state of mind, body, and the spirit. Okay, that is the holistic health. Okay, now this is how we have practiced. Understanding. I will take a small break because I see a lot of disturbance. So people are walking out and okay, some youngsters are coming in. Okay, so now see, if you look at in Western Ghats region, our ancestors understood the linkage between the forest cover and the availability of water in their wells. That's why they conserved the patch of forest, they called it as sacred forest or Devara Kadu or a Khan or rice like that. Now this is this is the spiritual aspect. Where science, society, culture and spirituality goes hand in hand, there is a sustainability in place. Where there is this missing, then only you see there is a problem of degradation, etc. To summarize what I said so far, as long as Mother Earth is covered with a green saree of native species, she retains the water and we get water for 12 months in a year. When we convert that saree into synthetic saree of rubber, acacia, etc., she gives us the water only for 6 to 8 months because synthetic material won't help us. Okay, when we degrade the catchment with a forest cover less than 30%, only during monsoon we get the water. So see how powerful these scientific findings are. Okay, now with that let us come to the Bangalore water crisis. I feel water crisis in Bangalore is because of the absence of water urbanism. What is water urbanism? When we plan the city, we didn't think about keeping the landscape porous. We made the landscape with concrete, paved surfaces. You should understand that the moment you get a building project, you should not think that, oh, I got a project, I will do. First and foremost thing is you should see whether the region can withstand this concretization. Okay? Now, let us look at water requirement for the Bangalore. We require about 18 TMC of water. 55% comes from Kaveri River and 45% from the groundwater. Now, there is a degradation in Kaveri Basin. We have a water crisis. Groundwater, we are going deeper and deeper. We are not getting water. So, there is a crisis. As I said earlier, 39 taluks of 40. The taluks in Kaveri Basin is a drought. And there is a groundwater depletion in the region because of the lack of groundwater recharge with the concretization and over-exploitation by commercial sectors, especially the building mafia. See, the water when there is a crisis in the city, priority should be for drinking, not for construction, not for industrial sector. But industrial sector can use the wastewater, treated wastewater. Okay, now let's look at the Kaveri Basin, what has happened over a period of time. If you are getting 55% of the water, then look at the forest cover in Kaveri Basin, which was 33%, today is 18%. Almost 45% we have reduced the forest cover in the western Ghat of Kaveri Basin. That's where, last monsoon, with the changes in climate, we had erratic rainfall, and because of that we had a water crisis in Kaveri Basin. Because of that, Bangalore faced the water crisis. In addition to that, our problem was complicated because of Tamil Nadu demanding unnecessarily additional water. And our the judicial system was also very nice to the Tamil Nadu. So that is where we lost the... Okay, now with this let me bring you to Bangalore. How was Bangalore of 1500 to 1800 and today? During Kempegowda period, the city of Bangalore today is 740 square kilometer. In 740 square kilometer, we had 1452 water bodies and 82% green cover. And because of that, temperature in the city during the summer month, May month was 14 to 16 degrees Celsius. And for few days in December, the temperature was 0 degrees Celsius. Can you imagine 0 degree in Bangalore today? It's possible. And we were growing apple in a place called Palace Orchard. Today Bangalore Palace Ground is there, There we were growing apples. Okay. Today we have 193 lake, less than 8% green cover. Okay. Now let us see how the growth has happened. The city, which was a garden city, became a garbage city, and it's a dead city now. And when you look at the lakes in Bangalore, it is interconnected. We have 3 watersheds. This is one watershed, Hepan Nagavara, Rishabhavati and KZ Valley. And the lakes are interconnected. When the interconnectivity is removed, the Raja Kaluways connects the lakes. When that Raja Kaluway is encroached, for example, Raja Rajeshwari River. There is one film hero sitting on Raja Kaluway. He is known as Sarati. And there are politicians sitting on Raja Kaluway. They are messing up the water flow, water movement. Because of that, we have the flooding in the region. Only the people, like you and me, get affected because of this, the influential section of society doing the mess. Okay? So now we understood that we are facing water crisis because of the irresponsible urbanization, leading to loss of tree cover, then riparian vegetation and all those things. I am going to explain this further. Now let us see, using remote sensing data, we looked at what is this unplanned urbanization. See, 68% green cover in 70s today and 8% is red, red are building. Green is the vegetation cover and blue is the water body. Today 86% is red, only buildings, okay? And 73, we had 68% green cover. 90 with industrialization at Pini and Kormangla, we see changes happening here. Then 2000 with ITPT coming at outskirts, we see changes happening. Then intensification happened 2006, 2009, and today you look at the concretization, how it has changed. From 7.97% it has moved to 86%. This is the threat. You know, with the concretization, we are not allowing the water to recharge in the underground layers. And see, we have reached the situation because of the removal of vegetation, we lost oxygen, we have oxygen deficiency, and we have lost the water scarcity in the region. And if you look at, there has been a 1078% increase in concrete area, and we lost 88% vegetation and 79% of the water body in Bangalore over the last 5 decades. And if this trend continues, 98% would be concretized in another 3-4 years. The city would be is unlivable already, is getting into the dead city status. You know, when I wrote this article, I thought people won't read, but some of the journalists noticed that, and they interviewed me, and some of them have become very this one. I saw one of the video by one of the journalists who interviewed me had about 40,000 views, and someone else who copied this picture and prepared it without mentioning myself or Indian Institute of Science. I saw that video had about how much? 7 lakhs views. Okay. See, this is the power. Don't do that. Copy paste is not good. But anyway, that gentleman did it. But my happiness is that there are a lot of people looking at the science for the solution. And what is the message here? Urban growth surpass the carrying capacity of the region. Because of that, we have the water crisis in the region. And let us look at how many trees are there in Bangalore. You know, why do we require trees? Only when you conduct class under the tree, you will understand the importance of the tree. Or when you eat fruit, you will understand the importance of the tree. You just give economic value to that, you will understand the worth of the tree. And we map the number of trees in Bangalore. You know, this is my campus, which is 400 acres. Using global positioning system, we did a mapping. We linked that with the remote sensing data. You know, we knew the spectral signature for each tree. Then with that knowledge for the remote sensing data for entire Bangalore, we extrapolated how many trees are there in Bangalore. You know, we have 14,78,000 trees and population is 95 lakh. That means for every 7% there is one tree. You might ask, how many trees we require? And there are one set of people, they think that trees are not required in Bangalore. And all of them are sitting in a stone building, 224 of them together, thinking of not having trees in Bangalore. You know, when you breathe, you give out a carbon dioxide to an extent of about 540 to 980 grams per person per day. Younger people, energetic, 980 grams per person per people. Younger people who sleep in the classroom, they give out carbon dioxide to an extent of 540 grams per person per day. And elderly people also 540 grams per person per day. And 1 hectare of tree takes away the carbon to an extent of 7 to 8 tons per year. By that ratio, for every human being, there should have been 7 to 8 trees just to take away the carbon dioxide what we are giving out in the system and what the oxygen in turn we are taking. But unfortunately, what we have is 7% one tree. You might think, oh, this is a new idea. It's not a new idea. This is what has been talked about in our scriptures. If you look at Bible, there is a mention about nature conservation at least 320 times. Quran talks about imminent war if you pollute the water. That's where when you visit Dargah, you have to wash your feet and finger with a clean water. That's where in good Dargah, like Kadapa or Ajmer, there is a well in the Dargah complex. So that you have to pull the water from the well, wash your feet and finger, then only you can enter the Dargah. They thought that when you practice the cleanliness of Dargah, you will also maintain at home and in community so that water pollution doesn't happen.
Look at our literature. Masai Purana talks about the linkage between the water, the child, and the tree. If you have a well at home, you are wealthy. 10 wells are equal to 1 lake, 10 lakes are equal to 1 sarovar, 10 sarovar is equal to 1 child, 10 children are equal to 1 tree. The people who cut, now I will reverse it. 10 children is equal to 1 tree, I said. Now I will reverse. When people cut a tree, they are murdering their own 10 children. When I write article, I write like that. Take the message from the scriptures, I write that. It becomes powerful. You might ask how it was powerful. One of the forest officers came to my office. When they come, I ask them to just sit like this. He was started. After a few minutes, I saw tears in his eyes. I asked him what happened. Am I responsible? He said, yes, you are responsible for my tears in my eyes. I said, no, my room is okay, but I didn't even talk to you. How do I become responsible? He said, not you, your article. Then I was curious. Okay, if my article is so strong, I wanted to know which article he is. He said, you have mentioned that I am a murderer. I became more curious. I said, I don't write article like that. Then he said, see, you have written, if a person removes a tree, he is murdering 10 children. Now, I have to remove 178 trees in a road expansion, widening. 178. When I remove that tree, tomorrow you will write an article saying 1780 children I have murdered. So then what should I do? I told him, no, nearby there is a vacant space. Why don't you just talk to them and have the planting of about 2 hectares area with a native sapling of at least 3 or 4 years old and think of transplanting. When he started doing that, people appreciate it. That is where there is a solution for every reason. It's not that development should happen at any cost. Development can go along with the conservation. Now let's look at number of water bodies in Bangalore. 73, this is a spread of the water body, 2023, I said 79% of water body we lost. And look at, these are the red ones are the one we have lost. 79% we have lost. And most of the water bodies, today when I look at 193 water body, 98% are encroached. And there are Raja Kaluve encroachment, 82%. I gave an example, Raja Rajeshwari Nagar also. Now, that is how we transform the landscape from porous to bed surface, which led to the acute water scarcity. This is the reason. And that's where we are facing the water crisis. And 45% of the Bangalore water demand is from the groundwater. Now, since we are not recharging the groundwater, I see severe groundwater scarcity in the region. Okay? Now, look at the air. Even the pollutant in the air is also creating the problem. The transportation sector has a higher pollution. Not only that, even the building, what we construct, is a classical example of copy-paste. Does our Indian engineer lack the brain? See, these are the architecture meant for European climate, not for it is meant for the cold climate, where you have to have the things so that thermal comfort would be there, so that you can stay inside the building without having the cold. But unfortunately, our engineers who are graduated copy-paste culture, they copied that and pasted in tropical climate of Bangalore, Hyderabad, Chennai. Now you might see what is the implication of this. I did a study of 3,000 households to find out what is the electricity consumption. In the normal building, the electricity consumption is 700 to 1,200 or 700 units per person per year, whereas in the glass fiber building, it is 14,000 to 17,000 units per person per year. Units is kilowatt hour. 10 times higher electricity consumption. 10 times higher electricity means 10 times higher emission of carbon. See, that is where we are contributing to the warming of the earth. Consequences, changes in climate, we have the flood, drought, all those things in the region. Okay? Now, I thought that this message should go to the destination. We developed the decision support system called Bangalore Urban Information System, which talks about the problem of Bangalore and solution also. And many other people have referred this, and they have even used my this remote sensing data very generously. We have no problem as long as there is a solution in the system. Okay. Now, similarly for the Bangalore Lake Information System we developed, which gives the details about the lake and lake-wise, what is the water quality, what is the algae that is there, what kind of fish is there in the region. When you look at the lakes, okay, when you look at the lake, I'll take another 10 minutes, is that all right? That's where I said the introduction is not required because I wanted that 5 to 8 minutes for the mic talk. Okay? Yeah. Now, when there is a lake, surrounding area, people had water at 80 to 100 feet. After removing the lake, in 5 years, the water table went down to 600 feet. Today, in the same location, 22 years after, people have gone down to 1800 feet, they don't have water. Not Shetty had. When they didn't have the water in their well, they came to me asking, sir, what is to be done? Now we are searching for water in the moon. That is a bad situation. We should have made sure the water what is there with us, they are retained in our place. Okay? And the best thing is to rejuvenate the lake. So that when you remove the silt accumulated in the lake, it gives the money for the farmers also. And second thing is, it makes the lake porous so that the recharge of groundwater happens. Saraki Lake was rejuvenated 3 years back. I was in the committee. And when it was rejuvenated within a year, 320 feet increase in the groundwater table happened. And today, after 3 years, you go to Saraki Lake. When most part of the city is facing water crisis, Saraki Lake has water and groundwater table is less than 500 feet. Because of the water in Saraki Lake, moisture content in the Saraki Lake, there are a lot of birds are there, their temperature is actually 2 degrees lower. And when the other part of the city also had a higher temperature of 36, 38 degrees, Saraki Lake catchment didn't cross 34. So that means the water bodies help in moderating the microclimate and provide the water to us. So that's where as an engineer, when you take up the project, don't think of allowing somebody to remove the water bodies, okay? So that is where the lifeline of the region comes, okay? Now let us see what is the worth of this water body. When the lake is not polluted, it gives us a fish, fodder, water, etc. It is to an extent of 10,500 rupees per day per hectare. And this is, people in the vicinity, like fishermen, washerwomen, etc. are benefited because of the lake. When we pollute the lake, the worth of the lake comes down to 20 rupees per day per hectare. That is where, the Amrithalli lake, the people who are dependent on the lake are the ones get affected. Okay. Now let us look at the other linkages. When the lakes were there in the city, in 90s we had temperature of 21 degrees. Today, in 2000 it became 24 degrees. Then in 2010 it became 28 degrees. And today 36 to 39 degrees. Now if you move from the center of the city in 8 directions, you will see wherever water bodies and the vegetation parks are there, temperature is 2 degrees lower. That means these act as the heat sink. They moderate the microclimate in the region. Look at the kind of domain they have used. Not just biology, not just engineering, the data science. That is where, if you want to be successful, your brain has to have the interdisciplinary knowledge. One domain knowledge will not work in the 21st century or 22nd century. If you are thinking of graduating using only mobile, you will become one more dumb fellow on the earth. As an engineer, it's our responsibility to create the technology, to develop the gadgets for the community, not use it, misuse it. Then when we remove the water bodies, what happened in the city? The flooding started happening. Okay? And at the other end, we have the drought situation. Okay? Now, why the flooding happened? Lakes are interconnected. When you remove this lake, naturally flood happens. Or drainage is are interconnected. When you occupy the large colony, naturally you are giving room for the flooding. And another thing you should understand, the engineers of BBMP of today, most corrupt human being on the earth. Look at the way when the flooding happens, don't feel bad or happy when I make this statement. The pain I undergo in this kind of illogical thing. When flood happens, the Chief Minister sanctioned 1,300 to 1,500 crores just to keep the public in a good humor. What BBMP engineers done? They do the remodeling of the drain in the name of flood mitigation. I was curious, what do they do? When I looked at the drain between the Bedandur and Agara, I saw the width of the drain from the historical map, which was about 80 meters. In the name of remodeling, these fellows made it 20 meters. They narrowed the drain. Second thing is, in the name of remodeling, they are concretizing the drain. I said that this is against the hydrological aspect of the drain. Hydrological property of the drain means the groundwater recharge should happen. But if you are concretizing it, then groundwater recharge will not happen. Then one of the engineers said, sir, we are spending for every kilometer 8 crore rupees. Look at the 8 crore, 40% of 8 crore they are losing. Okay? Now you saw the drain which was 80 meter has become 20 meter. They took money from the builders in the vicinity. There's additional profit they had. Not only that, because of this, narrowing the drain and concretizing it, the Koramangala got flooded. When people approached me, I looked at the thing, I told them this is because of the drain narrowing. When they pressurized the government, what did BBMP do? In addition to this drain, they created one more drain parallel to that. Can this happen in a city where so many young engineers are there? In many institutions in Bangalore? Why any engineering student is not thinking on this aspect? What is making the student of today not to think on this aspect? When we were students, we used to think for the city, we used to think for the country. Why it is not happening today? The misplaced priorities of the fake university of, I was told, the WhatsApp. I don't use mobile. That is where the problem comes, okay? So, now, how the lakes are being used in the city? We use lake for dumping the solid waste. To discharge the liquid waste, we enclose the lake and construct lake view apartments. And the lake which was like this in 90s, today has become with the macrophytes, invasive plants covering the lake. When plants cover the lake, there is no sunlight penetration. In the absence of sunlight, the food chain collapses. Algae will not grow. Since algae is not there, fish doesn't grow. That's how the worth of the lake comes down from 10,500 rupees per hectare per day to the 20 rupees per hectare per day. These are the glories of the city. The frothing of the lake and the fire. I have seen the youngsters of the other cities coming to Bangalore to take selfie on this. I am saying that Bangalore is dying with pollution. I don't know what these youngsters are taking selfie in that, what kind of pride they have in that. I have visited many countries across the globe. Nowhere people showed me coexistence of fire and water except Bangaloreans. Okay? And what is the solution for this? We should treat the pollutant. That sewage what we are leaving into the lake has the phosphorus. When the phosphorus get into the lake, naturally the froth formation happens. That means you need to remove the nutrient that is there in the lake. But what is the solution? In the Silicon Valley of India is that they put a barricade because the froth was coming on the road. They just want to cover up that froth. I wrote an article saying that this is an ad hoc solution. In another 4 days, froth will be on the road, I said. PDA didn't like my article. But as I predicted, 4th day, when the froth crossed over, the media started appreciating my vision. There was nothing much in that. I just used the common sense to tell what is going to happen in the system. See, these kind of illogical projects will happen in the system as long as you people are not active in the system. As an engineering student, you should think. When you think, you should also take up the issues for the social cause. I am working at Indian society, but I am raising the concern for the society. So that is what more and more youngsters have to do that, okay? So now, let us look at, if we don't do it, what will happen? The fish in the lake being consumed by the people. And the water which is there in the lake, through the groundwater people are consumed. Similarly, water in the lake is used for growing the vegetable like pudina, spinach, etc. We collected all these samples and we found heavy metal in all these things, pudina, spinach, radish, etc. Heavy metal in the food is creating a mess in our system. For example, it is increasing the cancer and kidney failure. Kidney failure, which is 1 in 1 lakh about 12 years back, today is 1 in 5,000. More and more youngsters are getting the problem of kidney failure. You should understand the implication that when I visit the schools in Vattur, in a government school, 8th standard boy had lost both the kidney. In the neighborhood, Vattur KK High School, I saw in LKG, the one girl child had lost the kidney. In the same school, when I visited 8th standard, the principal told me 2 girls have lost the kidney. Then after a year when I visited the same school, I asked the principal about that girl who had lost a kidney. He said that she is no more. That means she has died. Not only she has died, even the security guard who is a young fellow in the school has died because of kidney failure. You see, the youth are the asset of the nation. We are losing them because of our inaction of polluting the water bodies, etc. That is where you can come up with the technology to treat this wastewater, the cost-effective technology. You should be able to do that. Okay. So now, what is the solution for Bangalore? Bangalore receives a rainfall of 700 to 850 millimeters. If I harvest the rainwater, I have 15 TMC of water. Okay. Now, how do I harvest? There are two approaches. One is root of harvesting. Individual house will have 4 to 5 months of additional water. Then the next best option is to rejuvenate the lake and retain the rainwater. When you retain the rainwater in the lake, then the groundwater recharge happens, as I illustrated in the case of Saraki Lake. Now the second option is wastewater treatment through the nature-based solution. The model what I did in Jetcool, it is working for the last 20 years. When you treat the wastewater, you get 16 TMs of treated wastewater. So 15 TMC because of the rainwater harvesting, 16 TMC because of the wastewater treatment. You have 31 TMC of water. That means you have a surplus water situation in Bangalore. For that, I have 5R formula. First is responsible citizens. When people are responsible, they rejuvenate the lake so that I can retain the rainwater, and also they help in reuse and recycle the wastewater. Okay. So now I am in the concluding part of my talk. In another 4 minutes, I am going to do it. I will come to 2 of you. At the end, you need to summarize, both of you. Okay. So that's how I take the facts. Okay. Now, what is my intervention in the system? For example, wastewater treatment with constructive wetland, nature-based solution. Rainwater harvesting through the lakes, okay, and mini forest in the lake, and sensitizing the youth in the system. That's my job. That's where when I talk to you people, why I expected discipline, why I didn't allow these 2 youngsters to talk to themselves about the nice words, is mainly so that if they listen to me, I am giving one more person into the system so that the Bangalore and India can be managed, or the globe can be managed. Because today the girls in from India become a vice president in US. Tomorrow if they become president, I am not surprised. So that's the power of Indians. Okay. So now let me give the example of Chetkur Lake. Chetkur Lake, surrounding there were 25 wells in 2005. When I studied these lakes and well, all of them had nitrate. Nitrate is a carcinogen which introduces the cancer. Nitrate gets into the water because our sewage has the nitrogen. Why nitrogen is in the sewage? Because we eat protein which gives the sarjanaka to the water. Now, if you have to remove the nitrogen or the nitrate in the wastewater, you have to treat it to a tertiary level. See, when I pointed out this to the government, that lake rejuvenation has to be done, the government constituted a committee and they made me a member of the committee. And they gave the money which was sufficient to have the secondary treatment plant. But secondary treatment will not remove the nutrient, it removes only the chemical ion and large particle. So what I did is, I just integrated concept of wetland and algal pond. Last 10 years, my students have monitored this. This is a report available online, you can see that. And our study shows that it removes 85 to 90% of nutrient. Not only that, today surrounding Jetcool Lake there are 300 wells. None of the wells have the nitrate. I have the satisfaction because of my science, I am giving a clean water to the 300 well users. That's how the science should get into the society. Okay? So then, Bedandur and Vattur Lake, the biggest lake in Bangalore, I gave the proposal how to rejuvenate that. It was not happening because the government was not very comfortable. Then local youth took it to the Supreme Court. Supreme Court said that it has to be done. They penalized the government of Karnataka 500 crore, which is kept in a separate account, escrow account. I am a member of that National Green Tribunal. We are now doing the rejuvenation of Bedandur and Vattur. Vattur is almost complete. Bedandur is under progress. Okay. So now what did we do? We decontaminated the lake and we arrested the contaminant entering the lake through the wastewater treatment, etc. Now, to decontaminate, we need to find out where all contaminants are there. These are our sampling points. We selected the sampling point in both the lake. We analyzed how much the sediment, what is the sediment quality, what is the water quality, etc. Not only that, we did the bathymetry analysis. We saw the what is the current depth and what is the historical depth. When we took a difference of these two, current depth and historical depth, it gave an idea how much silt is accumulated in the lake, which amounts to about 11 million cubic meter. When I wrote an article saying 11 million cubic meter, naturally Bangalore and some of the experts told, oh, TVR is going to create a traffic problem with 11 million cubic meter to transport that every day thousands of trucks should move from this region. So then I did the analysis to say that whether I can convert this silt into the bricks. Then I said that okay, if I convert it into brick, it is worth 1,500 crores. You can do the Google search. All this is available online, my statements, etc. Then I also did the nutrient analysis of the silt. I wanted to give this to the farmers. And I found Vattu Lake doesn't have any the contaminant. Then I had a meeting with the local farmers. I gave the silt to the local farmers. Otherwise shifting the silt to the 14 kilometer, 15 kilometer would have created traffic jam. This is in the immediate neighborhood. 400 acre farmers took it. Believe it or not, after 4 months when I visited a farmer's house, I got a royal welcome. This is the kind of the bumper crop they got. And each one tells me they got 1.5 lakh rupees per acre in one season crop. They grow this thrice a year. That is how the science should benefit the system. 1.5 lakh is because they got a bumper crop and also they were not using fertilizer because the soil itself had nutrient. When we rejuvenate the lake, when we do the desilting, if you use this silt for the agriculture field, you have a productivity there. This is what the satisfaction it gives. Okay. In fact, they loaded the vegetable into my vehicle. I said, I cannot eat full decay of vegetable. Why are you loading it? They said, sir, you take it and give it to your all people in the institute, so that because of your institute, we have benefited. See, that is how the society responds when you do something for the benefit of the society. Okay. Now, if you want to know more about this kind of thing, I am organizing an international symposium called Lake Symposium. This I have been doing for the last 20 years. I started the journey in 98 and this is the 14th event, once in 2 years. The uniqueness of this event is, this is going to be at Moodbidre at Almas College. The idea of this event, there are 1,000 to 1,200 international and national delegates and about 20% of the school and college students like you all. You should come to the event so that you will learn more and more of this kind of concept. Then you can see how your career gets transformed with that kind of knowledge. Okay. So now school students, if they are doing it, what kind of experiment they do? They do the catchment, carbon sequestration in the thing. They are measuring girth and height. From there they find out what is the biomass of the tree and then from that 50% is a carbon. When they do the science, they also have recreation. When 60 class students does the measurement of each tree, you will have 60 value for each tree. You can also teach mathematics and statistics. And also the kids in the vicinity of lake, they do the catchment mapping. The children of 8th and 10th standard who have attended Lake Symposium, they know what is catchment. When I go to some of the engineering colleges and I ask the civil engineering student of 3rd year, what is catchment, they are unable to tell. That is the thing. That knowledge, if there is a gap in your system, please take part in this event. So that young children will teach us what is catchment, how to map it, and how to collect the water and how to analyze that. In the neighborhood of the rural area, the children do the biodiversity mapping. They will find out what kind of the resources are available in the villages, etc. Okay. Now let me also give you what I have done in the campus. I have created a lake in the campus, which is a perfect, the experimental lab for my student to work on biofuel and water quality. Not only students are happy, I also have otter. Otter in Bangalore is something interesting. Then I also know that from where it has come, I do not know. And I know that otter is a voracious eater of fish. I don't go and feed the fish every day to the otter. We were surprised how it is surviving. When my student did the biodiversity mapping of algae, zooplankton, fish and bird in the thing, we found that there is enough fish in the lake. We didn't introduce the fish, but somehow the nature created. See, the message here is, if you facilitate, nature knows how to give the food to everyone on the earth. Similarly, when I meet people, they also come with see, when this gentleman met me in 2016, Mudbidre. 2014-15 was a drought period in Mudbidre. He knew the water crisis in Mudbidre. I was in St. Aloysius College in 2016 December taking classes for the St. Aloysius student. At the time I received a call from this gentleman saying that he wants to listen to me. I said okay, I have a class till 7 o'clock in the evening. I will travel to your place and I will tell you what is to be done. Then he listened to my presentation like you all for 1 year, 1 hour. Okay. After that he said, I have 12 acres of land. Then I told my student, let us do the survey next day itself. We did the topography survey, found out what is the undulation terrain and where the water body can be created, and we did the catchment assessment to find out what is the catchment yield. Then we gave a proposal to him in the first week of May. Within 15 days he creates a water body. And in June, as I predicted when it rained, he shares this photograph with me. And the success is because of the youth. You know, where youth is there is hope. When we turn 30 to 40, we become critic. We become cynic in the system. That is why the beautiful age is 20 to 30. That's why don't waste even 1 minute in your life. When you are at the age 20 to 30, you can do the wonders which will benefit the society, which will benefit your family and yourself and also the nation. Okay? So then, in the meanwhile, I told this saying, there are 32 lakes in Mudbidre. Why don't you do the desalination? Because you are said you should be able to do, I said. He said, no, it's impossible, I will do 2. I said, okay, do 2. Remaining 30, I will get it done. You know, just when he did 2, remaining 30 were done as a Ramadan by his devotees. You know, the last year when there is a scanty rainfall in other taluks in South Kerala, this particular taluk didn't face water crisis because of this kind of the decentralized water management and managing the lakes and tanks and ponds in their locality. You know, when I saw the success is because of the youth here, and even the Alva's CEO is quite young. I thought that okay, I should give him a medicine. I gave him a medicine to create a water body in his campus which stores 25 lakh liters of water and also plant a native sapling. You know, after a year when I visited, you see the greenery with abundant water there. And something you should notice this. This gentleman was young when he met me and unmarried, and he was trying to get married. Unlike Bangalore youths, you know, what happened is within 6 months of creating water body, he gets a partner, wonderful partner who take care of the joint family. If you want happiness, you need to have a person with a culture. That is what he got it. You know, whenever I visit that institution, this girl doesn't want me to stay in the guest house. She wants me to stay in their house. Can this happen in Bangalore? When we go and knock somebody's house, people will tell me, no, we are not at home. I asked him, who is responding to my thought? From inside, where a ghost is doing it. See, where inhumanity is there and where humanity is there, you can see that, okay? So then, come to my campus. This is a climber you will see. This is from Western Ghats. I was fascinated by this because my brain was engineering brain. I said I should have it in Bangalore, that in my campus. You know, I brought that pot to the Bangalore, 14 seeds. Out of 14 seeds, 7 seeds I planted in 7 locations in the campus. Out of 7 locations, only 1 next to the building where I worked for last 2 decades, okay, it survived. You know, that means even the plants know who takes care. Otherwise, why other 6 places didn't survive? Okay, that means when you walk on the street, you can see the trees. It will be watching you. So, and if you want to de-stress yourself, the way you hug your mother at home, exactly same thing you do with a tree. You see how much relief you get. When you hug your mother at home, the same relief you get from the tree are much more than that. So, because mother will be busy, she may not allow you to hug all the time. Whereas tree is there always, so you can go and hug, okay? Then in front of this building, we created a mini forest in 2 hectares area. You know, 500 saplings were planted when I was a student in 90s. Okay? Groundwater table at that time was 150 feet. Today, I have the water at 10 feet. Don't you see the linkage between the vegetation and the water? See, this is what as an engineer you should understand it. This is how you have to revitalize the landscape. Not only the concrete, you should also have the humanity in the landscape. Okay? And temperature in this region is 2 degrees lower. Not only that, I have this kind of the diversity of life, slender orange, varieties of snakes, etc. Okay? And this is how I communicate to the people. I also organize the environment management course for the people working in industries, universities. Many faculty from various institutions are my institution or my students. 21 session I have done. This is in addition to my regular teaching. I teach 2 courses in a year. In addition to that, I also do this through the continuing education, which is not a mandatory course. That's how the knowledge what I have gained, I am communicating to the wider social society, to the school children, as well as to the working professional. You see my audience, something similar to this. You must be around 270 or 300 today, but sometimes 2,000 to 3,000 youngsters listen to me. Okay? And if you have any doubt, you can write to me. This is my email ID. I don't use mobile. Okay? Best way to reach me is through the email. And these are the portal, my publications are available. You can download. And because we have done a good science, we are one among the top 2% scientists in the globe. See, this is what you should understand, how Indians can do a job. And the credit of doing good science goes to the youngsters. Some of the youngsters are with me today. So that their work makes us to communicate, and that's how we have been successful. Well, you can see our publication and the YouTube, you get my lectures, TED Talk, etc. And this is a glimpse of the laboratories I have created in various institutions in Bangalore rural schools. See, my agenda is to sow the seeds in the brains of the youngsters. They become successful. And they are the asset of the nation. That is what we are doing. When they do a good science, there is happiness. Thank you all for listening.